Hello, everybody. It's Ryan, the Game Show Guy, back again today. Actually, I don't got a game show for you. I got a game. And so, although, yeah, I am the game show guy, we play other games too. Besides, we're not just always doing the TV, the Price is Right, all that sort of stuff. I got lots of games for us to play. There's more coming on this channel for you to be able to get ideas and inspiration from for playing one of my games, creating your own games, taking the idea of games and doing things that best fit in your classroom. So, yes, I grew up and I think I've started this. I've started my intro and all that sort of stuff. The idea about the game show. I started with Jeopardy and continuing to go on, but that's only one game type of a game. I got game shows. We're going to be talking about board games. We're going to be talking about card games. We're also going to be talking about one of my favorite carnival games, how we can incorporate all those different sort of ideas of skill and luck and reward and fun all get into this thing. And so that's today's today's game is what we're playing. We're not playing a game show. We're playing a board game, which is also a card game, folks. This is Apples versus Apples. Yeah, so Apples versus Apples, classic game. It's they call it a competition, a game, or a comparison game. I'm sorry. I like to think of it as one of the skills that we try to be able to do in virtually all of our classes, have kids to be able to create an argument that come up with a thesis, a stance, a pitch, stand somewhere and be able to defend that action, defend that wherever you're at with evidence and such. And Apples to Apples is a great, I think, tool to be able to do that. You have many of you have played the game before. There's tons of different. There's Apples to Apples. There's Apples to Apples Junior. There's a lot of different versions. And the basic premise of the game is like you can see here, the idea of I'm going to be able to take one topic, one term, let's say, or a theme, and let's say cool, like you can see here of these different cards. You got goofy, smelly, excellent, but let's say we're going to go with cool. Then randomly players are going to select different stances, and they have to defend themselves, basically say what is cool. So what are monkeys cool? Not what, sorry. Monkeys are cool. Flip-flops are cool. Sandcastles, pickles, and spinach, all these things are cool. So your job then is to be able to say, why mine is the coolest or the goofiest or the smelliest or the crunchiest or the most excellent. That sounded like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Anyway, but the idea of I need to be able to sell it. And so there's two parts of this. One is the kids who are going to be able to tell that. I think monkeys are the coolest or flip-flops are the coolest. But then there's the other part of there is the judge, the person who is ultimately going to have to weigh all of these arguments and say, based on the evidence, and also about how persuasive the argument was, I vote, you know what? I think flip-flops are the coolest. Yes. And that's it. That's the essence of the game. When I originally made this game, I simply just I had some people asking for Apples to Apples. And I'm like, sure, I can be able to just make the graphics and tweak them and make them in a printable version so I can give them to you. And the more and more people were playing with Apples to Apples, they were saying, oh, hey, I want this or I want that. Can we make it more of a game? And how many should we do rounds? And I'm like, it's just Apples to Apples. So that's it. Just, right. You got cool and come up with some other ones. Here's this thing. You fill it in and fill in your own content, make it fit for science or language arts or social studies or whatever your subject is. And some people were doing that, but they kept asking for more. So that's why I put this together in this product here. Feel free to take, like with all of my tutorials and games, you don't even need my file. If you want to be able to create your own, go for it. And I'm giving this all to you here. So Apples to Apples is basically this. You just come up with that game and put the content in that fits for you. I find this incredibly fun. Also, what's neat about this is this could be as small as you want it to be or as big as you want it to be, as long as you want. You just want to be able to do this for a short amount of time. You want to do one little round of it, that's fine. You want to be able to have a giant tournament of Apples versus Apples and come up with go for it. You want to have a scoring system, go for it. Do whatever you want with the thing. I'm going to show you a couple examples about how to be able to do that, how to be able to do the basic play, and how to be able to use what I have here if you want to be able to have kind of a cool version to be able to go along with it. So let's check that out. Okay, so for Apples to Apples, how I do this, and that's like I said, feel free to modify it yourself. I actually have two separate files for you to take note of. One of them is free and giving it away. You can check down here in the YouTube link. I'm going to give it to you. And this one is my Apples to Apples printout. And then the other one is the game itself, the one that you display. So basically, one is these are things that the questions that you're going to make, the terms and the descriptors that I'm going to be able to make. Think about my content. Okay, put this in here and fill them out and then print them and have the kids play with them. This has to be 100%, not has to be, this can be 100% non-digital game. Just create your own cards. And so, like I said, check out the link in the description. And forget, always, by the way, don't forget to subscribe and like. Isn't it YouTubers say that, right? Smash that like button. Anyway, so that's the printout version. That's what you have here. What's different about the printout is, one, it's designed for printing in terms of for you to be able to go here. You simply, I've put in the green cards and the red Apple cards and just rotated the stuff. So you simply just go in here and type in your whatever it is. So if this was like, what was the one that we said, cool, you just type in cool, and over here you type in flip-flops. Or you're like, oh, wait, no, I want to be able to make this for my content. So I'm going to say, oh, Shakespeare is cool. And over here, I'm going to put, oh, no, I think, who else could be cool? Could take me a while. F. Scott Fitzgerald. There you go. Gatsby. I was trying to think of F. Scott Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald. Right there. So you simply just type those in. And the reason, so this is the printout one, so that it's completely customizable for you to be able to just fill in those text boxes to be able to make those. And then the other thing too is, if you look on slide 1, that I have changed the dimensions on this, that this will fit just a normal piece of paper. Normally, if you're going to be able to print a Google slide or a PowerPoint, it's designed in a different shape than a paper. Paper is more, it's not a complete square, but paper is more boxy and square, whereas your television and your computer screens are longer. The aspect ratio is called a 16:9, as opposed to this, which is an 8.5:11. Anyway, basically just know this. If you want to be able to print this thing out, this will print out exactly as it is, as opposed to if you print out from the game that I ultimately have, it's going to get a little bit weird and distorted a little bit. So that's what this is. And if you can see here, I simply just got one slide will be these cards that you type in, and then the next one are actually the back side of the card. All with the premise of, folks, is that you can be able to go in here and print these out. So like here, you can see I have printed these, made my cards for my game, printed them out, and for all of them, I'll get to the rules, but you got the one green card and the other red cards, and then you put your stuff on there. I can see here, like, hey, there's climate change, on that one, and that's it. And then on the back side is just the color, the back of the cards, so that when you stack them all up and that kind of stuff, and then the kids, you shuffle them up, and then they flip them over and say, hey, I pull from the green deck, or I pull from the red cards, kind of a thing like that. And so I just have slide after slide. You can see here where it says keyword and term to argue, keyword, term to argue. I have a couple of them, but literally you really only just need 2, just the front of the card and the back of the card, and you just keep making more and more copies as you wish. And so that's it. That's what this document is. Feel free to be able to print them out and play the game. So now I'm going to minimize this and show you kind of what the game looks like itself in the other document. This is the one that you would display. And how I display this is I put this up, but I say, hey, everybody, explain the game a little bit. I'm going to pretend nobody knows how to play apples to apples. And kind of that's just the way all the games are. I think I mentioned in one of my other games, you would assume kids have maybe watched Price is Right or Jeopardy, but some people haven't, right? And don't get them like, what do you mean you've never played apples to apples? Don't do that. Say, hey, everybody playing apples to apples. For those of you who haven't played, here's a little bit of a rule. All right, the class is going to be divided up into I'm going to break this up, but I'm going to have 6 volunteers to play with first. Volunteer number 1 is going to be the judge. Okay, my green apple judge. Your job is going to be this: is you're going to pull something from the green apple deck of cards, and you're going to look at the card, and you're going to announce what the keyword is to the other players. And so this one is the future. That's my run. So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, the class, my card is, your card is the future. And at that point, I'm on part number 2 right here. The judge is now going to tell them they have a set amount of time. You can put a timer up or not, or just whatever. But some people really like having a timer, and just 1 minute, 3-minute timer. I wouldn't go much past 3 minutes, kind of a thing. Then when the timer's up, or you say it's over, kind of a thing, then tell them, okay, here we go. And then you either then each of the people of the red apple people they have had their terms. They have randomly picked their terms. Sorry, forgot to do that. The first person will say, the judge will say, "Hey, listen, it is the future." Then they all will then pick their red cards, and they all have their different terms on them. They have that time to be able to come up with their defense about how the future is climate change. Is it? Or the future is, I'm pretending this is a science class, the future is solar energy. Ooh. So now they're going to be able to spend that time to be able to coming up with their argument. I recommend having them that they got themselves a piece of paper and they're documenting and writing what their bullet points are. Like any good lawyer, they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to be able to. I got my legal pad, and these are the points that I need to be able to get across. I really recommend this. Having them have something that they can be able to refer back to their notes is something that a good creating and defending an argument would. And then also, I'll come back to this in a little bit. Then you decide how they're going to go. Is it based on how you randomly pick the kids in the first place? I'm not even going about how you pick these players. You could just randomly pick. You could be able to do a popsicle stick sort of thing. You come up with a way to be able to get these 6 people to be able to play. And then what is the order which they're going to go? That's on you. Then the judge, I'm on step number 4 here. After all they've been heard, the judge is going to, you can or can't do this, but you could just say, hey, listen, I'm just going to take all of them and listen to them all and make a decision. Or the judge can say, now we're going to open this up for debate. And so that's when the kids who originally had written down their ideas that I think that the future is solar power, solar energy. Yeah. They have just created their argument and said it. What I like to be able to do is have them do rebuttals and defense, so that after everybody goes for the first round, then while the people, the red apples have done theirs, they are also, when they hear the other ones, they're coming up with points to be able to sort of attack or take down what the others have done. So that way on the second round, you would say, okay, now for rebuttal, who would like to be able to go first? And then, at that point, I kind of like make it a free for all, like, hey, go on hands, and just kind of have it flow, or let the judge, the green apple judge, the one be able to do that. Also, I like to be able to do this. I like to use apples. This is a fake apple. See, sounds like it's not a real apple. Anyway, I like to use the apples, the squishy apples. I don't have a squishy, but these are some of the other fake ones, and use that as the talking point. So whoever gets to talk has the apple. I give the apple to the green judge. The green judge is like, all right, first to talk, and he gives a little toss to the first person. Whoever has the apple gets to talk. And that way it's kind of fun when they do their debate. They have to be able to pass the apple back and forth. Creates a little bit of decorum, or a little bit of, not decorum, but a little bit of the process about how this works. Okay, and then at a certain point, then that either you or the judge sets it. You can make it a timer or whatever and say, all right, argument's over. Oftentimes they'll just naturally run out, because students are, sooner or later, depends on how well how good they are, but most of the kids are relatively going to struggle with the amount of evidence that they have to be able to do this and such. And so, and then at the end, then you say, you give the mic back to the virtual mic back to the judge, and say, the judge, all right, who gave the best argument? That point, what I would like the judge also should be taking notes as well too of their points. And then ultimately, I want the judge to be able to say, based on the evidence that I think, and then they give their opinion. Okay. I think that, and if they want, they could do it classic, hey, I think that this was okay, and that person was all right, and you did okay, but the winner is, and then you do the reveal. I kind of like that way, the build up for it. Or they could just ultimately say who they think the winner is, but they got to be able to put something to it. The judge's job is not to just sit there and go, the winner is Jeff. Wait, who's Jeff? Solar energy. Good job, Jeff. And like, Jeff's his friend. And like, no, he'll have to be able to give the reasons why. You want to be able to do that. And that, in essence, is it. That's for the judge. And the same sort of thing kind of goes here to what they are. Kind of the role of the red apples is the same thing. There's going to be 5 of you. The judge is going to give you the card. You'll have time to be able to look at it. Then you're going to have a minute to plan. Then you'll have to do the rebuttals if you would like, kind of a thing. The judge is going to declare. And that, in essence, is the game. Yippee. Now, what about, why do you need this thing? Well, I like to be able to put them here so that it displays. So then in this presentation, ultimately, I have this for you to be able to have up on the screen. It's for you to be able to go for the other kids to be able to be playing to play along and follow along at home. So if the keyword, like, what did I say it was? The future. That's right. So I'm going to put the future, and then I'm going to be able to go, what are the terms here? So I said one of them was what? Solar energy. And then the next one was, climate change. You put good things, bad things kind of stuff. Hyper. Climate change. Now, like I mentioned before, you can print these. These are distorted and different. They're not designed for the card. This is what should be displayed and put up, and say on that. Oh, on the bottom it says inspiring here because I hadn't changed that one from before. But then you have it always down here on the bottom too. So if it was the future, I have that on the bottom of all of them. So solar energy, yes, it was the future. So I put the future on all of them, so that when we go to, and then you as a clicker. All right, so next up is Jeff. Jeff is wind energy. And so as Jeff is doing his defense, we all can remember that because I have this up on the screen along with me, wind energy, and then the bottom is the future kind of a thing. I don't have these up when they do the rebuttals or whatever, but that in essence is the game or whatever. So the game goes like this. You go to round one. Hey, everybody, round one is Judge Apple. What do we got? And Judge says, it is the future. He says it. Then I click on the future, and then I put up this. I'm like, okay, red cards. Now here's your task. You turn over your cards, and they all flip open their cards. And they're like, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we got? Like, oh, man, I got deforestation, and I got plastic. The future is plastics. Good luck on that one. Okay. And then you say, okay, then you give them their time to do over this thing. And I leave my little apples up and the countdown, the tick up. And then you say, okay, after amount of time, let's go. And then I put them in order this way. So as opposed to you're bouncing around, like I remember, however you want to be able to order them, come up that way. So in essence, that's the game, folks. It's relatively simple. This is when the Apple starts to be able to do his decision. I put this up to be able to say, all right, now it's time for Honorable Judge Apple to be able to go. And he or she does his thing. And that's it. That's one round. Normal Apple's game. I'm saying this is probably going to take 10 minutes. 10 minutes, one round, 10 minutes. There you go. You want to play more? And this is where it gets fun. Now you start to rotate. Okay. So do this any way in which that you wish. If this is a class where everybody is watching, you're only having 6 people play, then after those 6, whoever won, I make that person, let's say this person won, they watch this over. Ooh, it's kind of a magic trick. So those 6 people are gone, and the winner now becomes the judge. 5 new contestants come on up, and that's how you constantly keep rotating people through, kind of a thing. If you want to get everybody involved in a classroom game showy kind of a thing. Another option in which how to be able to do this is you make a bunch of small groups in here. You don't have to do all 5 of these ones, right? You could put them in smaller groups. And you could do, let's say, like 4 kids, like so 3 have clues, or 3 have the red card. 3 have the red cards and are given the defense, and then you only have 1 judge, and then you can give them all set, and you got smaller little groups going along the way. Another option that you have, and that's where I do the rotate. Like, that's our winner. Give me some 5 new Apple people coming up here. The other option that I have here at the very bottom is these directions as well too. That if you would like. But one of the options that I have, I forget what I had, but you can put a scoring system to this as well too. You could be able to say, hey, I want the winner. You could come up with a point system and say, hey, whoever came in first, you get 10 points. The judge is also going to come up with first, second, and third. So 10, 7, and 5. Congratulations. And then you can rotate through if you want to do a group setting and ultimately try to have who was the greatest of all of them. That would be if I would do a small group setting. I would say, hey, listen, every time that everybody's playing and every time that you win, you get 10 points. If you come in second, you get 7, and third, you get 5, kind of a thing. Folks, this is completely fluid and open to you. Have a good time with this sort of thing. You make these cards, right? And you really kind of connect with them and get them about your content. But like content, I've said this, and I think in every game that I've done is mix it up a little bit. So if I say each one of these is about 10 minutes, if I'm going to do this for a normal class, I want this thing to last 30, 40 minutes. So basically, I'm going to do like 3 or 4 content related ones. And I would probably do content, fun. Content. What do you mean fun? The real red apple one. So go back to like the picture that I had before. Like, do that one. Hey, give everybody cool monkeys, flip-flops, sandcastles. My cool would be this, is I make it a little bit more connecting to like their world. So make it about music, make it about pop culture that they're aware of, make it about your school or your campus or your town, things that they know would make it kind of fun. Like, hey, why you, like what's cool? And you could put like me, Mr. O'Donnell, or the principal, or something like that, or have fun with that kind of a thing. It's a really fun, simple game, how to be able to use. They dig this. You can have a lot of creativity with it along the way. It's also not we have to make this a giant. A lot of almost all my games are designed for like the unit review kind of a thing. And this one isn't as much. We're in the middle of the flow. Like we're learning about, like this whole one here, we're talking about, the environment. And so we could be in our unit of study and be able to say, hey, everybody, next day. So after we've been learning about climate change and deforestation, the effects of plastics in the environment and alternative forms of energy, we're going to be able to do this. We're going to do a couple an apples to apples kind of a game and instruct that. And you could be doing within it too. So have fun. It's apples to apples. Get an apple and print these things out and have a lot of fun with the stuff. Love as usual. I love to be able to hear feedback in the YouTube channel, on the Instagram account, wherever you do the things to be able to let me know how it's going. Oh, Teachers Pay Teachers. I know I was forgetting one. Yeah, where you can be able to do that. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoy your apples to apples, and we'll see you next time on The Game Show, guys.